Hello, my beautiful babies, and welcome to Ancient Egypt, or at least welcome to third grade social studies, where we're going to be talking about, that's right, Egypt. And after we read this chapter today, we're going to be able to make our own bookmark using Egyptian hieroglyphs. We're going to write our name. It's going to go right down here. It's going to be awesome possum. So first, let's read about Egypt. Look What Came from Egypt by Miles Harvey. Let's first of all take a look at our table of contents here. We've got Greetings from Egypt on page 4, Inventions on page 6, Fashion, ooh la la, on page 12, Food, ooh, I wonder what they eat on page 14, Toys and Games, and that's on page 18, Animals are on page 20, Musical Instruments on 24, A Recipe, no way, we totally have to try that, on page 26, How do you say on page 28? Ooh, what do you think is in that chapter? I wonder. And to find out more, I bet we're going to get some more resources there on page 29. And then, of course, our glossary on page 30 and our index on page 31. So here we are, Greetings from Egypt. Egypt is one of the world's most fascinating countries, located in the northeast corner of Africa. It is home to more than 58 million people. Egypt is a very old land. It was once home to one of the most important civilizations in the world. This civilization is known as Ancient Egypt. The history of Ancient Egypt began more than 5,000 years ago and came to an end about 2,600 years ago. Ancient Egypt is often remembered for its fantastic buildings, including the pyramids. Kings and queens were buried in these huge structures after they died. Many of the pyramids are still standing today. Each year, millions of people travel to Egypt to see them. But you don't have to go all the way to Africa to find out about Egypt. Many things in your everyday life originally came from this great land. The Egyptians even invented the first book. What? So let's turn the pages of this one and find out all about the amazing things that come from Egypt. Now let's take a moment to check out our captions here. This one says, Ancient Egyptians began the custom of shaking hands. I sure do miss shaking hands with all of you guys in the morning. Here is the flag of Egypt, and here is some Egyptian money. Ooh, let me get some of that. Here's a map. Let's see, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Ooh, Egyptian inventions. And on page 6, just like our table of contents said, oh my. So inventions. Have you ever seen a mummy in a horror movie? The original mummies came from ancient Egypt, but they weren't monsters. They were dead people whose bodies were preserved for burial. The process of preserving dead bodies is called embalming. The ancient Egyptians invented embalming about 5,000 years ago. Many dead people are still embalmed today, but they aren't wrapped in cloth like the mummies were. Let's take a look at our captions. Here's our first picture, and it says, Ancient Egyptian mummy inside its wooden case. Ooh. And here we have an ancient Egyptian child mummy. Looks like they painted a picture of him right on the cloth. Or maybe that's the wooden case. Embalming is just one of the many important inventions that come from Egypt. About 5,000 years ago, for example, people in Egypt came up with the idea for tunnels. Today, we use tunnels mainly in highways and subways. The ancient Egyptians, however, used them to create huge underground chambers where they buried dead people. Some of these tunnels can be found in the pyramids. Ooh. So it looks like our caption says, tunnel inside an ancient Egyptian pyramid. There they are going right on inside. And more inventions, holy moly. People have been using pens for about 5,000 years. The first pens came from ancient Egypt, but they were different than the ones we have today. They were made out of the stem of plants. Oh, around the same period that they invented pens, the Egyptians also made the first ink. The Egyptians made the world's first books about 4,800 years ago. Wowee. But the pages weren't made out of paper. They were made out of papyrus, a kind of plant. These first books are known as scrolls. To read them, you wouldn't turn any pages, huh? You would unroll them like you do with paper towels. Wowee. Let's take a look here. Looks like these are our pens. Ancient Egyptian pens and inkwell. Oh, looks like the ink is here and the pens. And here's our Egyptian papyrus scroll. You'd unroll it like paper towel or toilet paper that I hope you have enough of at home. And our last page here, it's just a big old picture and a caption. It says ancient Egyptian wall carving showing people writing with pens. Wow, that is so cool. Egyptians invented so many things. They must have been very creative